Welcome to our channel. Today, we embark on a journey through the timeless wisdom of the art of war, an ancient Chinese military treatise attributed to the legendary strategist Sun Tzu. This text has transcended its military origins to influence leadership, strategy, and tactics across various domains. Let's delve into the profound lessons it offers. First, let's set the stage with a brief introduction to Sun Tzu, the mastermind behind this classic. Sun Tzu, a Chinese general, military strategist, and philosopher, lived during the Eastern Zhou period around the 5th century BC. His work, The Art of War, is one of the oldest and most revered texts on military strategy and tactics, still relevant today. The Art of War comprises 13 succinct chapters, each dedicated to a different aspect of warfare. Its core teachings revolve around strategic planning, adaptability, and understanding both oneself and the enemy. These principles have proven invaluable not only in warfare, but also in business, sports, and personal development. Now let's delve deeper into the most impactful quotes from The Art of War and uncover their profound meanings. These quotes encapsulate Sun Tzu's strategic insights and offer timeless advice applicable across various fields. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. The clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard. He will win, who knows when to fight and when not to fight. Engage people with what they expect. It is what they are able to discern and confirms their projections. It settles them into predictable patterns of response, occupying their minds while you wait for the extraordinary moment, that which they cannot anticipate. Build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. The opportunity to secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. The quality of decision is like the well-timed swoop of a falcon, which enables it to strike and destroy its victim. When strong, avoid them. If of high morale, depress them. Seem humble to fill them with conceit. If at ease, exhaust them. If united, separate them. Attack their weaknesses. Emerge to their surprise. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness. Be extremely mysterious, even to the point of soundlessness. The general who advances without coveting fame and retreats without fearing disgrace, whose only thought is to protect his country and do good service for his sovereign, is the jewel of the kingdom. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands, but the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Let your rapidity be that of the wind. your compactness that of the forest. Do not repeat the tactics which have gained you one victory, but let your methods be regulated by the infinite variety of circumstances. If ignorant both of your enemy and yourself, you are certain to be in peril. He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will be victorious. There are roads which must not be followed, armies which must not be attacked, towns which must not be besieged, positions which must not be contested, commands of the sovereign which must not be obeyed. Confront them with annihilation, and they will then survive. Plunge them into a deadly situation, and they will then live. When people fall into danger, they are then able to strive for victory. When one treats people with benevolence, justice, and righteousness, and reposes confidence in them, the army will be united in mind, and all will be happy to serve their leaders. A skilled commander seeks victory from the situation and does not demand it of his subordinates. The art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemy's not coming, but on our readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unassailable. Regard your soldiers as your children, and they will follow you into the deepest valleys. Look on them as your own beloved sons, and they will stand by you even unto death. Be subtle, and use your spies for every kind of business. The clever combatant looks to the effect of combined energy, and does not require too much from individuals. Hence his ability to pick out the right men and to utilize combined energy. One mark of a great soldier is that he fights on his own terms or fights not at all. There is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. If you wait by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will float by. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. The skillful tactician may be likened to the shuai-jan. Now the shuai-jan is a snake that is found in the Chang Mountains. Strike at its head, and you will be attacked by its tail. Strike at its tail, and you will be attacked by its head. Strike at its middle, and you will be attacked by head and tail both. When you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be dampened. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. Move swift as the wind and closely formed as the wood. Attack like the fire and be still as the mountain. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Know yourself, and you will win all battles. To win 100 victories in 100 battles is not the acme of skill. To subdue the enemy without fighting is the acme of skill. The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. To fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. Hence, to fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. When you plunder a countryside, Let the spoil be divided amongst your men. When you capture new territory, cut it up into allotments for the benefit of the soldiery. The highest form of generalship is to balk the enemy's plans. The next best is to prevent the junction of the enemy's forces. The next in order is to attack the enemy's army in the field, and the worst policy of all is to besiege walled cities. Confront them with annihilation, and they will then survive. Plunge them into a deadly situation, and they will then live. When people fall into danger, they are then able to strive for victory. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. The general who wins the battle makes many calculations in his temple before the battle is fought. The general who loses makes but few calculations beforehand. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. All men can see these tactics whereby I conquer, but what none can see is the strategy out of which victory is evolved. He who is prudent and lies in wait for an enemy who is not will be victorious. Ponder and deliberate before you make a move. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. The art of war is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline. When able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must seem inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe we are near. Hold out baits to entice the enemy, feign disorder, and crush him. If he is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest. If his forces are united, separate them. If the campaign is protracted, the resources of the state will not be equal to the strain. When your weapons are dulled, your ardor damped, your strength exhausted, and your treasure spent, other chieftains will spring up to take advantage of your extremity. Then no man, however wise, will be able to avert the consequences that must ensue. Though we have heard of stupid haste in war, cleverness has never been seen associated with long delays. It is only one who is thoroughly acquainted with the evils of war that can thoroughly understand the profitable way of carrying it on. The skillful soldier does not raise a second levy, neither are his supply wagons loaded more than twice. Bring war material with you from home, but forage on the enemy. Thus, the army will have food enough for its needs. Poverty of the state exchequer causes an army to be maintained by contributions from a distance. Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished. When their substance is drained away, the peasantry will be afflicted by heavy exactions. In war, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. In the practical art of war, the best thing of all is to take the enemy's country whole and intact. To shatter and destroy it is not so good. So it is better to recapture an army entire than to destroy it. To capture a regiment, a detachment, or a company entire than to destroy them. It is the rule in war, if our forces are 10 to the enemy's 1, to surround him, if 5 to 1, to attack him, if twice as numerous, to divide our army into 2. If equally matched, we can offer battle. If slightly inferior in numbers, we can avoid the enemy. If quite unequal in every way, we can flee from him. Though an obstinate fight may be made by a small force, in the end it must be captured by the larger force. The good fighter is able to secure himself against defeat, but cannot make certain of defeating the enemy. One may know how to conquer without being able to do it. The general who is skilled in defense hides in the most secret recesses of the earth. He who is skilled in attack flashes forth from the topmost heights of heaven. Thus, on the one hand, we have ability to protect ourselves. On the other, a victory that is complete. To lift an autumn hair is no sign of great strength. To see the sun and moon is no sign of sharp sight. To hear the noise of thunder is no sign of a quick ear. The control of a large force is the same principle as the control of a few men. It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers. Fighting with a large army under your command is no wise different from fighting with a small one. It is merely a question of instituting signs and signals. In all fighting, the direct method may be used for joining battle, but indirect methods will be needed in order to secure victory. There are not more than 5 musical notes, yet the combinations of these 5 give rise to more melodies than can ever be heard. There are not more than 5 primary colors: blue, yellow, red, white, and black. Yet in combination they produce more hues than can ever been seen. There are not more than 5 cardinal tastes: sour, acrid, salt, sweet, bitter. Yet combinations of them yield more flavors than can ever be tasted. In battle, there are not more than 2 methods of attack: the direct and the indirect. Yet these 2 in combination give rise to an endless series of maneuvers. Energy may be likened to the bending of a crossbow, decision to the releasing of a trigger. Hiding order beneath the cloak of disorder is simply a question of subdivision. Concealing courage under a show of timidity presupposes a fund of latent energy. Masking strength with weakness is to be effected by tactical dispositions. One who is skillful at keeping the enemy on the move maintains deceitful appearances, according to which the enemy will act. He sacrifices something that the enemy may snatch at it. Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement, even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart and a deep ditch. All we need do is attack some other place that he will be obliged to relieve. If we do not wish to fight, we can prevent the enemy from engaging us, even though the lines of our encampment be merely traced out on the ground. All we need do is to throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. We can form a single united body, while the enemy must split up into fractions. Hence, there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several different points. And his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionately few. Rouse him and learn the principle of his activity or inactivity. Force him to reveal himself so as to find out his vulnerable spots. Carefully compare the opposing army with your own, so that you may know where strength is superabundant and where it is deficient. Military tactics are like unto water, for water in its natural course runs away from high places and hastens downwards. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. The soldier works out his victory in relation to the foe whom he is facing. Just as water retains no constant shape, so in warfare there are no constant conditions. He who can modify his tactics in relation to his opponent and thereby succeed in winning may be called a heaven-born captain. The stronger men will be in front, the jaded ones will fall behind. And on this plan, only 1/10 of your army will reach its destination. And there you have it, timeless wisdom from Sun Tzu, the master strategist. His teachings remind us that true victory lies not just in the battlefield, but in the mind and spirit. Whether you're navigating the complexities of life, business, or personal growth, these principles offer invaluable guidance. Remember, in the words of Sun Tzu, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. Seize your opportunities and conquer your challenges. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the art of strategy.